Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here, y'all, for a new show on TV called Somebody's Son, y'all. Have you watched it? If you're not watching Somebody's Son on TV, we're in season 1, episode 1. You need to go on over there and watch it with me. It's a good show. I liked it, y'all. I really liked the first episode. And for those of you who saw the first episode, did you like it? I did. The first episode is called Game On. Game On. Now, I'm not going to retitle the video because I kind of like the title of the episode. Because in one way, it touches on the fact of game. We find out that the gentleman Joshua is an NFL player. But also, I like the fact that they said game on because it's not a game, but it's kind of a game. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are single and you are looking to get married, you need to watch this show because what this show is going to give you is insight into the back office of when a man decides that he's going to marry you or not. It's going to give, so I know it's going to make a lot of women mad. The women it's going to make mad are women who don't understand the game. And when I tell you about the game, it is this sort of what some of you may call interference, influence of a man's family on his decision on who he brings into the family. And a lot of you are going to want Joshua to do everything on his own. And so you're going to just try to appeal to Joshua where you don't realize there's another influential person in his life, sometimes people in his life, and you're unaware of it. You know what I like in this too? This is like a panel interview. A lot of people in dating, they want a one-on-one interview where all you do is go in and you just interview with the hiring manager, right? You only got to impress one person, the hiring manager. And if the hiring manager likes you, you know, you get the job. That's what a lot of people want. But unfortunately, dating, getting married is more like a panel interview. You got more than one person you got to impress. You do. And sometimes you got to impress the daddy. Sometimes you got to impress the mama. Sometimes you have to impress the aunties. It really, really depends. And you can poke out your lip all you want. You can roll your eyes and roll your neck all you want. But it is what it is, just like interviewing for a job. Let me tell you something. On this episode, we had Joshua and we had four ladies. We had Martha, Lexi, Shambrielle, and Tamaris. In the end, we're going to hop to the end. In the end, it was Martha who went home. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad about Martha going home. They're going to probably believe that Lexi should have gone home because Lexi has 2 children, which Joshua clearly doesn't like, right? He doesn't want a woman with 2 children. But let me tell you who came in and made the decision. Who made the decision was his Auntie Oma. So the Auntie Oma is the one that's going to be making the decisions. She's sort of like the stand-in mom. It looks like she had a big influence in raising Joshua. Joshua tells us that his mom, who is Nigerian, he's Nigerian, she worked a lot. The mama worked a lot, and the mama was back and forth between Nigeria. So it was Auntie Oma, I believe that's her name, Auntie Oma, who really stepped up and is a fierce mother figure to Joshua. So as a result, he's brought Mama Oma, his Auntie Oma here to help him make these decisions. Now, like I said, game on. Game on, game on. Before I really get into the entire ins and out of this episode, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this right now to you ladies. I understand why Auntie Oma kept Lexi and not Martha. I do, and I'm going to explain it later. Honest with you, I don't think she liked either one, but I'm going to tell you through this sort of review of why she chose Lexi over Auntie Oma. And hopefully you'll stick around and you'll listen because maybe you'll learn something. Like I said, this is a panel interview. This is not no one-on-one with the hiring manager. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna give you a little hint. If you're out there and you're interviewing for a job or you're interviewing for a wife or to be with a man, everyone at some point is going to not just evaluate you on your resume, right? They're also going to evaluate you on whether or not you fit in with the company culture. And in corporate America, you could be smart as hell. You may know all the right answers. But if the hiring person or people on the panel review feel as if you're not coachable, or they feel as if you won't fit into the company culture, they will hire another person who you might feel is less qualified. That's going to give you a little hint. And when I say fit in with the company culture, you translate that to a family. Does the auntie, mama, or whoever else want you at Thanksgiving dinner? Do they want to sit down at a table with you and talk to you? And if they don't, you're not going to get hired. You're not going to get hired. So we're going to talk about this, y'all. We got so much to talk about, but I liked the first episode. I really did. So before we come back and talk about it a bit more in depth, I'm going to go ahead and play my introduction video. I want you guys to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and we're going to really get into it. See you in a minute. So we are back. We are back to talk about On TV, Somebody's Son. We are on season 1, episode 1. And the premise of the show is, here is a man. His name is Joshua. Joshua is like a model. He is an entrepreneur. And he is also an NFL player. He's a free agent right now. That means he don't have a team yet. But he's been in the league for 6 years. Another year, I believe he gets a pension. How many years you're going to play in the NFL to get a pension? Is it 4 or 7? I can't remember. But anyway, he's been there a minute. He ain't a one-hit wonder. He says, I've lasted in the league for 6 years. And what he says is he is looking for someone who loves him as he is. There's a hint right there for you. Someone who loves him as he is, which I'm telling you, we're about to go down this road with Joshua. When I hear someone say, I want someone to love me as I am, I'm thinking, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean that you have been criticized a lot in your life and you're tired of being criticized and now you want a person who is going to accept you? Or are you a person who wants someone to love you as you are because you don't want to learn and grow and get better? I don't know. I really don't know what we're dealing with Joshua. I really don't know. But if any of you have been watching my channel, one of the worst terms I hate in dating is I want someone to love me as I am. What are you looking for? What are you looking for, and where does this come from? But Joshua has 4 lovely ladies he's going to have a chance to choose from. He and his Auntie Oma. Their names are Martha, Lexi, Shambrielle, and Tamaris. Now, we all know when a man is choosing a woman, number one is going to be looks. I hate to say it. Men are very visual. So you're not going to get anywhere with a man unless he likes you physically. That's the first thing he's going to have to like about you. He's going to have to like your looks first. Then second is going to come your personality. And then after your personality is going to come that other stuff, like maybe your career, or do you fit in well with the family, all that other kind of stuff. But if you don't pass the first 2, which are looks and personality, you're not going to get introduced to the family too much. Just to let you know, if you don't pass those 2 things, then you probably won't make it to the next level, which is getting introduced to the family. Because what he's saying is, I got to like the way you look, first of all, for me. Then I got to like your personality. Then I got to feel like my family's going to like you before I introduce you. I hate to tell you. So these ladies started popping up, started coming through the door, and he got a chance to look at them all. First of all he knows when they walk through the door is what they look like. So all of his approval or disapproval is really going to be about whether or not he likes the way they look. And they're all going to end up living together, and they're all going to end up living together with the mom. And in this case, it's Auntie Oma, because the his real mom, his biological mother, maybe she's in Nigeria, maybe she didn't want to appear, maybe he's closer to Auntie Oma than he is to his own mom. We really don't know yet. And what's interesting about this show is the auntie or the mother is gonna get to make the decisions on who stays and who goes. I guess they're trying to say that sometimes the men make decisions too much based on the little head and not enough on the big head. And so the mamas and the aunties are going to step in and try to give him a little bit of help. But what she knows is, I'm sure she's met some of the girlfriends before, so she knows what he likes when it comes to looks. She knows a few things. She's just probably going to try to steer him and coach him to make sure he makes the best decision. As they say, does mama know best or does mama not know best? So like I said, Joshua is 28 years old. He's a professional football player for the Tennessee Titans. He is 6 years in the league, and he is now a free agent. And like you said, he's looking for someone who's going to love him as he is with no corrections. Boy, he said he's an entrepreneur and he's into fashion. And he's going to hold off on telling the women that he's a football player because he don't want no gold diggers. He really doesn't want any gold diggers. So he's going to hold back on that portion of telling the woman who he is, because he doesn't want a woman to dislike him for his fame, for his status as a football player. He wants to get to know the real woman. He said so far he's been outside, free and be free. And I guess he's saying, I need to go ahead and settle down and find a woman and get married and have some kids. He's still young. He's 28 years old. So I'm already thinking to myself, is he ready to be at this place at 28 years old? Is he ready? Unless he's a very, very mature person, I would say that as a male, he might be a little bit too young. I don't know as a whole. We'll have to see if he's a mature 28 or if he's still an immature 28. I don't know yet, be honest with you. Typically, I always feel like 30 is a good age for men. I think that's when they really start to maybe get things a little bit together and really start to look at things more seriously. But hey, maybe Joshua is an early bloomer and he's at 28. Now, women, they bloom earlier. But men, sometimes it takes them to about 30 years old. But we will see. We will see. He said that in the past, he has dated women who have been more materialistic, and he doesn't want that. So Auntie Oma's going to sit in the background. She's going to watch from a secret room as these ladies start to enter the house, and we see them. So first up, we see Tamaris, 29, beautiful young lady. She's a journalist. She's a producer, and she's in the telecommunications industry. She's from Baltimore, and she says she wants to build an empire with her man. And she says right now it's been hard to find a man because it's hard to find a man who has the same core values as her. She wants to feel safe with a man. She wants a man who's gentle and kind. I'm really liking Tamaris. I'm really liking her. Later on down the line, we get to hear some of her answers to some of the questions. And I'm telling you, the vibe I get from Tamaris right now is she can read a room. Tamaris can read a room. Now, I can't say that about all the ladies that are going to walk into this room. But for Tamaris, off the bat, I feel like Tamaris is a good reader of a room. And let me tell you, you need to be a good reader of a room when you're meeting new people, because you got to know what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say, right? You need to be able to size up the room sooner than later. Like I said, this is a panel interview. This is not a one-on-one. This is a panel interview. And let me tell you, Joshua liked her looks straight from the beginning. He liked her energy. They both were complimenting each other. Your face looks good. Your smile looks good. Your hips look good. They were tossing around the compliments very freely, and Joshua liked it. You could tell that Joshua likes validation and affirmation, because as Tamaris was validating him, he was lighting up. Remember, he was the one that says, I want you to like me just as I am. And like I said, sometimes people are looking for that because maybe they feel they weren't validated enough when they were younger. And so they really they don't do well with criticism, even if it's constructive criticism, because they had too much of it too early in their life. So then as they get older, they don't want to hear none of it. They were like, I was overdosed as a kid. I was always told I had to be better. I wasn't good enough. And now as an adult, I don't want to hear none of it. And you know what? That's good and that's bad, right? There's good things and bad things. Like I said, we all have sort of these childhood traumas that we bring into our dating life. But right now, I could tell that that Joshua, he likes validation, affirmation. And who doesn't? I'm not saying that other people don't, but I could tell that he does. And what I'm suspecting straight off the bat, that his auntie Oma gave more of that to him than possibly his biological mother. If I had to guess, I would say that the biological mother might have been a bit more critical of him growing up, and Auntie Oma was a bit more accepting of who he was, and maybe that's why he feels a bit more comfortable talking to Auntie Oma and also inviting her here to one of what we would say is an important step in his life. So far, he liked Tamaris. Then we got to meet Lexi. She walked on through the door, another very pretty young lady. She's 30. She's a marketing manager. And what we find out about Lexi is a single mom with 2 girls. And what Lexi said is above all things, Lexi's looking for a co-parent. Lexi is looking for a co-parent. So now Lexi is looking for a co-parent. I'm not for sure what she was looking for before she had the children or while she was having the children. I'm wondering now, what is the different criteria that she has for the man who she wants to be the co-parent versus the man she had the babies with? I'm always curious about that. I'm always curious in whatever standards you have for the new man to be a co-parent for your girls. Did you have those same standards when you mothered the children with another man? Or do you have higher standards for the man who's going to step in and be the father versus the man you have the children with? It's also very interesting. So she said she wants to be able to show her kids what love looks like. And she says she was engaged but never married. She was engaged not only once, but she was engaged twice. So I'm not for sure if she was engaged to the father of the 2 children. We don't know if the 2 children have different fathers. They did flash some pictures of the children. I can't tell. But I find Lexi's situation a bit interesting. And I would need to know more about, is Lexi pivoting in life, or is this where she always was? I would want to know why she didn't get to marriage with those men that she was engaged with. It's almost as if Lexi had these steps. She had engagement, she had children, but she never made it to marriage. I need to know why that happened. I would need to figure that out, why that happened. And later on, I'm going to see some behavior from Lexi that shows me that Lexi might have been enjoying a bit of pretty privilege in the world. And now that she is a little bit at a disadvantage in the dating world by having children, because let's be honest, it is a disadvantage. She's struggling with it. I think she's struggling with the disadvantage she now has with the 2 children. Even though she loves her children, I think she was used to sort of having a bit more pretty privilege, being chosen first in her younger days. And now she's having to compete with women who I think Lexi doesn't believe she also needs to compete with. I'm just saying. But she says she hasn't found the person who matches her. Once again, I say, you haven't found the person who matches you, but you've been engaged twice and you have 2 children. Something is going on in Lexi's life, the way she chooses men and she chooses to procreate with men. Something's not lining up. She says that Josh is her typical type, okay, because obviously the way he looks, she says that's the look she normally likes. He's good looking, he's in shape. And, when they were sitting there at first at the table, it was just Lexi and it was Tamaris, and they were introducing themselves to Joshua. And Tamaris mentioned that she was single, very single, and she didn't have any children. And the minute that Tamaris mentioned she didn't have any children, Lexi rolled her eyes. She rolled her eyes. And I said, well, why are you rolling your eyes, Lexi? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, you already are hating on Tamaris just because Tamaris mentioned that she didn't have any children. Lexi almost felt like, well, why are you saying that? Because you want to pretend like you're better than me? Um, Lexi girl. Lexi girl. Lexi is low key competitive. I'm gonna tell you that right now. She's low key competitive, and I think she's right. I think Lexi is used to dating people like Joshua, who probably have had a lot of women around him all the time. And Lexi has learned to compete with other women for men. And in the past, she's probably won out some men, like if she thinks of competition because of her looks. And as she's gotten older and she now has two children, she's losing some of those races now, for a lack of better words. She's losing some of those races and she's irritated by it. So here she is at the table with Tamaris, and she's rolling her eyes because Tamaris mentioned something that Lexi feels as if may not be one of her strong suits. The minute Lexi says that she has two children, Oma says that she don't like the woman with two children. She doesn't like him for her nephew, right? But Lexi says, I don't want to have to jump through hoops for a man just because I have two children. See, what Lexi is saying is, I don't want to have to do any more than I did before I had two children versus when I have two children. Well, Lexi, I'm sorry to mention it to you. You will have to do some things differently because you are coming to the table with two children. It doesn't mean that you're not valuable. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy. But to think that it doesn't mean something to some people, you know what, girl, just face reality. It's okay. It doesn't mean you still can't find a man who can accept you and accept your children and all those sorts of things. But don't act as if it's not a game changer. It is a game changer. The sooner you face reality, the sooner you can adapt to reality. And then what you can do is you can tailor your game, like I said, game on, to fit your reality. But don't try to pretend like it doesn't exist and then roll your eyes at women who are coming to the table who don't have children and act as if, something's wrong with them. Don't do that, Lexi. Don't do that. Now, we don't know if Joshua has any children, but I'm thinking that he doesn't because Auntie Oma hasn't mentioned it. And he's saying that's not what he wanted either. He said he wants to be able to start a family with his wife from the ground up. He doesn't necessarily want a woman that already has children, but we know he likes the way she looks. We absolutely know that he likes the way she looks. And like I said, there's a lot of steps to get to the point of being the wife. So looks is just the first step. It is really just the first step. It is just getting an interview. That is the privilege you get when you are very pretty. At least you get offered an interview. You see, some people never even get offered an interview, but when you are pretty in the world, you have to recognize that, you know what, you did get some pretty privilege. You at least got an offer for an interview. There are a lot of women who never even get that, but that doesn't mean you automatically get the job. It just means you got offered an interview. Next, we got to meet another young lady. This is the third young lady. Her name is Shambrielle. She's 32 years old. She's a mortgage broker, and she showed up in booty shorts. Booty shorts. Like I said, it's an interview. It is an interview. And at first, when I saw Shambrielle in the booty shorts, and I thinking, why would you wear that to meet someone's mother? And then I realized that these ladies did not know that they were meeting the mother. Because later on, we see Shambrielle, and she's actually really embarrassed and scared by the fact that she's got on booty shorts. But I will tell you this. It wouldn't have mattered, Shambrielle, whether or not you were meeting the mother or not. To show up in booty shorts on the first date is inappropriate. It's just inappropriate, and she says she wants someone who values communication. Well, girl, what message are you sending with those booty shorts? That's what I want to know. Since you are saying you are so into communication, what message, what style of communication were you using in this moment to send a message with those doggone booty shorts? She says the reason why she believes that she is single is because she's overly communicative. That's what she says. which might be translated into she talks too much. Later on, we might see she talks too much or she thinks she knows everything. We don't know. We don't know which one it is. But she says that's why she thinks she is single. And maybe she's just putting on a good euphemism. I'm overly communicative, when some people might say she needs to shut up sometime and know when to be quiet. But I tell you right now, when I tell you that those shorts were inappropriate, when I saw Auntie Alma's response, she said right away that she did not believe that Shambrielle was Joshua's type. That's what Auntie Alma said. But when Joshua spoke up, he said he was liking it. So get this. Shambrielle walks through the door with booty shorts. Auntie Alma says that's not Joshua's type. But what Joshua said, I'm liking it. There you go. So the reason why Auntie Alma probably said that's not Joshua's type, because what she's saying is, I've never seen Joshua date a woman like Shambrielle. Okay? That's why she believes it's not Joshua's type. But Joshua clearly said, I like it, which tells you Joshua has dated maybe a Shambrielle before, but he may not have dated her publicly. Did y'all catch it? Did y'all catch it? Joshua said, I like it, but I might like it in private and I might like it in secret, but I don't like it in public. And therefore, Auntie Alma has never, ever met a Shambrielle. Men do not show every woman they date to their aunties or their mamas. There'll be plenty of them. We never meet them. We never meet them. And the fact that Joshua liked Shambrielle just by the outfit alone and what she came in wearing, that tells us he's dated a woman like that before. Just no one in the family has ever met her. That's a lesson to you, Shambrielle. That's a lesson to you. I know you came here not thinking you would meet a mama. So what you decided to do is you decided to appeal to the lustfulness of the man. But what you don't realize is by appealing to his lustfulness so soon, it really actually took you out of the running long term. I hate to tell you, what's the point of having a man choose you out of lust when you're never going to make it to the third round of interviews? Short-sighted, Shambrielle. That outfit is what you call short-sighted. That outfit was what you call bait, okay? But the bait ain't going to hold him. The bait may get him to look. The bait may get him to take a taste. The bait may get him to try you out. But in the end, he already knows he's not taking you maybe to the second round or the third round. And so, Shambrielle, I'm going to tell you something. Whether you were meeting the mama or not, that's an inappropriate first date outfit, period, point blank, period, with a T on the end. As you young people say, period. It was inappropriate. Girl, do better, learn. You know, they hit him with the question about, has he ever cheated before? This is at the time when you had Shambrielle at the table, Lexi at the table, and also Tamaris at the table. And he said he is a Virgo. And he said, yeah, I've been unfaithful before when I was younger, but I learned a lesson. And Shambrielle was impressed because she said, that's good. I'm glad he at least could admit it and not lie and pretend like he had never done it before. So she was happy to see that. And then after they got a chance to talk, then next thing you know, we had Martha walk through the door. Martha is 26-year-old, and Martha is a nurse, and she's from Nigeria. And she walked in a full Nigerian outfit, looking like a queen. And she said, well, the reason why I'm single is because she wants Prince Charming. Okay, Prince Charming, you want someone perfect. Here go another person walking through the door looking for perfection. Who knows, Martha? Maybe you another one looking for perfection because you think you're perfect. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, Martha. Because who else wants a Prince Charming besides someone who thinks that they are a princess? Because Prince Charming is a fantasy. Okay, so you know what? Do you believe in fantasies? Do you believe in fantasies? I guess Martha is. Martha has probably conjured up in her head what Prince Charming looks like. And what Martha has said is, everyone has said about her, she is never satisfied, which more than likely, maybe Martha also has a high bar for herself. So not only is she looking for Prince Charming, she is not satisfied easily, but she wants a family. She wants to be a wife. But she waiting on Prince Charming. How many princes are there in the world? Not enough to go around, girl. Not enough. Well, the minute that Joshua sees Martha, he says that he believes that she's very good looking, and he says Mama gonna love her and she gonna stay around to the end. That's what he said. But as we find out, she didn't even make it past round one. Not round one. Now we got to get into this discussion amongst all ladies and figure out how the heck did Martha go home and Lexi didn't. Remember the order, y'all. Remember the order. Looks, personality, do you fit in with the family, and then all that other background information, your career, all those other kind of things, right? So I'm going to tell you right away that between Martha and Lexi, the grandma, not the grandma, sorry, don't mean to call you grandma, the Auntie Oma was more impressed with the looks of Lexi. I'm going to just tell you that right away because she kept referencing it too much. She kept talking about how beautiful Lexi was. So between the two, and I'm not going to say if it's what I believe, I'm just saying I read the Auntie, and what she believed was Lexi was more beautiful than Martha out the gate. Remember the hierarchy: looks, personality, then those other things come after that. And why did she think Lexi was more beautiful? Maybe it's not just her own opinion. Maybe it's also what she knows her son typically, or her son or nephew typically likes, right? Maybe she has in her mind the type of beauty that her son likes. And maybe what she knows is when I look at the beauty of Martha and I look at the beauty of Lexi, let's say she thinks they're both beautiful, what I have seen my son choose in terms of looks is more like Lexi and not like Martha. So when I'm looking at looks, I can already tell you that between the two, straight out the gate, Auntie Oma gave Lexi a point and not Martha on the looks category. Like I said, looks. Now, we start learning a bit about their personality. The one thing I can say about Lexi versus Martha was that Lexi was sort of passive aggressive in her haterish type behavior. Martha was more vocal about hers, and that played against her. Because to be honest with you, both Lexi and Martha both have a personality that I don't think is a good personality. Because Lexi was low-key shading Martha. The minute Martha came in the door, Lexi said to her, I love the outfit, shade. Here comes the shade. Is that for a special occasion? Basically, what Lexi was trying to do is say, girl, you overdressed. You overdressed. Now, whether or not you believe Martha was overdressed or not, the fact that Lexi was the mean girl to bring it up and shade her told me a lot about Lexi. Now, remember, Lexi was also the one that rolled her eyes at Tamaris. So now what I do is I see Lexi rolling her eyes at Tamaris. I see her low-key shading Martha, and I already know that Lexi is somewhat of a mean girl. She's intimidated, and she likes to compete against women. Now, remember, the mama ain't seeing none of this. She's not seeing none of this sort of personality of Lexi at this point. But she goes on and says, well, is that something you wear if you're on a bridal party, you going to a wedding? I mean, the shade that Lexi was throwing at Martha was real. You could see it. Now, I know that Martha was waving her fan, and Lexi said, it's so cold in here. Why is she waving that fan? Because Martha was hot in that Nigerian wear. She was hot. Martha said, it might be cold in here. This thermostat might be on 68, but I'm hot and I need to keep my makeup from melting. And so I'm going to wave this fan so I can stay cool. But the way that Lexi automatically thought that Martha was only waving the fan as if she was trying to get under the skin of these ladies, that not only told me something about Lexi, it also told me something about Martha. She said Lexi isn't here trying to intimidate everyone. We later find out that Martha was saying things out loud like, I'm not here for no women. I'm out here to get my man. This is my man, my man, my man, my man. And so maybe that turned off a lot of the women. But the way that Lexi handled it, it told me a lot about her. It told me a lot about her. So when I say, what is the hierarchy? Looks, personality. The looks category, the mother, the Auntie Oma, gave it to Lexi. Now we come to personality. And what you actually see is two sort of personalities that are not ideal. But one personality is more passive aggressive and not out there, which is Lexi. And the second one is out there in front, and that is Martha. So now I'm on personality. Who's going to get a point taken away again? It's going to be Martha. She's going to get a point taken away again. Unfortunately, she's going to get a point taken away again. Martha's strategy was all wrong. All wrong. Now, she thought she had an advantage because she was Nigerian. She could have had one, but she lost the advantage. She absolutely lost the advantage. There was actually no reason why she should not have been able to come here and been able to stay on the show, except for her personality. And when she was finally dismissed at the end, her personality showed through one more time when he said, "Can I have a hug?" And she refused to give him a hug, even though it was the Auntie Oma was the one that actually ended up asking her to leave. And even in that moment, the pride of Martha, she wasn't able to see that there. And so, like Joshua said in the end, you know what? At first, he wasn't sure if his Auntie Oma made the right decision. But once he saw the way that Martha acted with that nasty personality on the end, he said she made the right decision. She made the right decision. Now, does that mean that I think that Lexi has any bit of a better personality? I don't think so. I just think that Lexi did a better job at covering it up. That's what I believe. And I think that her time is coming when I think we will see more of it. I guarantee you. More than likely, it's the personality. It is going to be the arrogance of Lexi, which is why she probably has been engaged twice but not married. And also some other things. That's what I'm going to say. Martha was the first one to ask Joshua what he did. And it was in this moment that he said he was a model and an entrepreneur. And he didn't want to mention football. And Tamaris was the one that said she felt his answers were vague and that she wanted him to open up more. This is when I first started saying that Tamaris is a much more deeper thinker. She wanted some more elaboration on what he did, and she was the one that first called out that she thought that he was vague. Now, what Tamaris might be drawing some conclusions about this, maybe too soon. Tamaris might be drawing conclusions that why is he being so vague? Is he being vague because he's a buster? He's a dusty? Is he being vague because he's just a secretive person? Maybe she's assuming the worst. We don't know. I really want to know what Tamaris is thinking, because in the end, his reason for being vague is because he don't want to go digger. He does not want to go digger. But he mentioned he was from Nigeria. And so that's when Martha thought she was going to be the obvious choice because they were from Nigeria, but she thought wrong. She thought wrong. And then after he got some time to spend with the ladies, he went on back and started talking to Auntie Oma. And the first thing that Joshua said was, "How am I doing, Auntie Oma?" See, there it is right there. There it is right there. He wanted the approval of his auntie on how am I doing, Auntie Oma? Do you approve? Do you have any verbal affirmation for me? And his auntie said, "You're doing a great job. You are doing a great job." So right there, I'm going to tell you right now, the type of woman that Joshua's going to need is Joshua's going to need a woman that validates him and gives him verbal affirmation. Right there, I know it. And then they tell Auntie Oma that you're going to leave the icebreaker. You're going to go back in here. And this is when she's going to introduce herself to ladies and let them know that I'm the auntie or I'm the mama in charge and I need to get to know you. And so when she walked in the room, Martha said, "Is that your mama?" I actually thought that was really cute, the way that Martha said that. Lexi said it was awkward for her to meet a mom on the first date. And is she going to judge me? Like I said, Lexi, oh, Lexi, your insecurities are glaring through. And it's also telling me that you don't meet a lot of men's mamas, right? Because you're very, very uncomfortable with it so soon out the gate. And she felt that it was very, very awkward to meet the mom so soon. Actually, you should be happy. You should be happy to get some insight into a man you're dating sooner than later. Sometimes is the biggest source of information and insight into a man. And why wouldn't you want to have that information sooner than later? Because what Lexi wants to do is Lexi wants to win over men with her looks first. That's what she's saying. And what she knows is that looks play well with men, but looks may not be what a woman or a mother looks for first. And so Lexi, once again, looks at it as a disadvantage because now she's saying the mother's going to judge me because I have 2 children. Poor Lexi. Poor Lexi. Girl, I hate to tell you, but you are in a new world of dating and you are going to have to play by the new rules. And Lexi's just not going to be able to get by on her looks. And the sooner she builds her confidence up, the better she can show up, as opposed to trying to act as if it's not relevant, it's not important, and no one's going to pay attention to it. Of all the people, when the mama Auntie Oma walked into the room, the person to get up and hug the mother was Tamaris. There you go. Tamaris was the first person. Everybody else sat in their chair at first and was going to just look at the mom or give her a handshake. And it was Tamaris, once again, like I said, the one that knows how to read a room was the one that got up first and greeted the mother. That tells you something. So I'm going to tell y'all right off the bat, right now, my favorite is Tamaris. She's my favorite right now going in. She's my front runner. That's who I'm going to like the most first out of all 4 women. And it was in this moment where Shambrielle said, I am dead in the water because this outfit I have on, this booty shaking, booty short outfit I had on is not going to go well with this mama. And honestly, the only reason Shambrielle is also probably still here is because what was worse than her booty shaking outfit was the bad attitude of Martha. Because Shambrielle, in the end, like I said, looks and personality, had a personality that the mama liked, and therefore she got to stay. The first question was, how will we handle disagreement between yourself and my son? And Shambrielle was the one that said, I don't want to go to bed upset. And Joshua's answer was, it depends on the disagreement. So he was like, he can be good to go to bed asleep. But what Joshua was really talking about when I said he likes approval and verbal confirmation was that if you are in a disagreement with Joshua, it's going to be tough because, like I said, he likes affirmation. He likes agreement. So if you are in an argument with him, he's going to take it hard. He's going to take it hard. So when Shambrielle was saying, I don't want to go to bed upset, and when he said, I don't really want to argue, I just want to go to bed, period. And Shambrielle said, well, wait a minute. Should we try to solve it first? She lost a couple of points in his eyes. I'm telling you, she lost a couple of points. But you know who liked her? Auntie Oma liked her because Auntie Oma agreed with her in that I do believe that is the best way to solve conflict. So it became an issue of, is Shambrielle right? Yeah, she is right. You don't want to go to bed upset. But did it appeal to the person who Joshua is? And in that moment, it didn't appeal to him because he doesn't even want to think about having fights Because remember, he likes constant validation and affirmation. But you know who didn't answer the question? And who sat back and watched the conversation unfold? Tamaris. Because like I said, she reading the room. Tamaris is the one who says, I'm not going to sit here and answer the question out loud. If I'm called on, I'll answer it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen and I'm going to gather information. And the person, Shambrielle, who's over communicative, decide that she's going to share her feelings, emotions, opinion sooner. And in a lot of ways, she was out the gate first, but guess what? She lost a point. I'm going to tell you right now, she lost a point. She lost a point with Joshua, but she gained a point with Auntie Oma. And that's why Joshua said, wait a minute, Auntie Oma, why are you agreeing with Shambrielle? You're supposed to be here for me. Like I said, affirmation, confirmation is what Joshua likes. He wants you to be on his side at all times. The next question they had was, how often do we need physical intimacy? And Martha said she expects it often, every day. And Auntie Oma said, that's too forward. Auntie Oma said that's too forward because once again, Martha is trying to appeal to only Joshua. And what she's telling Joshua is what she thinks every man wants to hear, which means the cookie store will be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can access it anytime you want to. And Auntie Oma says, that ain't right. That ain't true. That ain't going to happen. So right then and there, Auntie Oma looked at Martha and said, girl, you're not fooling me. You are not fooling me. I got one eye on you, Martha. I got one eye on you. Lexi, on the other hand, decided that she was going to take the approach that says, I like the man to initiate. I like the man to initiate. And what she's saying is, I'm just going to what? Sit back and follow the man. If he don't do nothing, I'm not going to do nothing. Right now, Joshua's also going to want a woman to initiate because, like I said, he likes affirmation and confirmation. And when you initiate, that's affirmation for him. That means you like him. That means you want him. So he's going to be attracted to you. Lexi over here now trying to act like she demure and she's a woman of virtue, yet she's the one sitting here with 2 kids, never married a man. She's sitting here with 2 kids and never married either the father or no one else. Lexi is trying to reinvent herself. Okay. And Lexi, this is not going to work. People going to see through it, Lexi. Like I said, embrace who you are and come up with a strategy of who you are. Don't try to hate on other people. Embrace who you are and run your own best race. Tamaris said, I'm going to read the room. I'm going to read the room. I'm going to strike a balance between the two. And I'm going to say, I like it for it to be natural and to go both ways. Sometimes I may initiate and sometimes I want him to initiate. There you go, Tamaris, reading the room. Tamaris realizes she's on a panel interview. All these other ladies, Martha, Shambrielle, Lexi, they think they on a one-on-one interview. And Tamaris is the only one saying, no, I'm on a panel interview. Shambrielle chimes in and she also says, yep, I want to keep it natural. I don't want to keep track of it like it's on our calendar or nothing. And Joshua's like, he liked that answer. He says he wants to keep it fun and natural. And so of the two, he liked the answers of Shambrielle and Tamaris the most. That's what he liked. So the next question was about how do you like to show up in your romantic side? Alexi says she's super romantic. She loves to write love letters and she loves being a mom and she's real cheesy and she likes to make heart-shaped pancakes. Girl. Heart-shaped pancakes for the man. That's for your kids. That is for your children. Okay. Lexi, that was not a good answer. That might show your good mom side. That might show you're a good mom. I understand it. But when he's talking about romance, once again, he's talking about himself. He's asking for himself and writing love letters. Girl. I don't think that was a hit. I don't think it was a hit, Lexi. Martha, on the other hand, she went the whole opposite way. Like I said, she over here gonna just say whatever she think the man want to hear, and she says, "I'm gonna cater to my man any way possible." Because remember, I told you, Martha has been probably raised to be perfect, and so what she wants to give is the perfect answer for what she thinks is the perfect answer for this man. So she says, "I'm gonna cater to my man any way possible." Girl, I'm gonna do romantic massages. Auntie Oma says, I see right through you, Martha. I see right through you. You could already see Auntie Oma souring on Martha because what she's saying is, I don't see the genuineness in Martha. It's like she's just trying to give me the right answer. Who is Martha? And because she doesn't really know who Martha is, and like I said, between in the looks category with Lexi, she already lost the battle of looks. Now we're talking about personality. She's losing the battle of personality to Lexi. That's what she's doing. After Martha saw that look on Auntie Oma's face, she realized that she was ashamed of the answer. She gave the wrong answer because what she realized was in her quest to be right, in her quest to be perfect, she actually realized she got the answer wrong. She got it wrong. And Tamaris was the one that said she understands that Joshua's here to fill her out, but she also understands that she's here to fill him out as well. So she's trying to strike a balance between not just trying to say things to impress Joshua, but also get a little bit more information from him. And Tamaris wants more information. And Lexi said she didn't believe that Joshua's answers were the best either. And she says, I see red flags. And what Lexi said is, we're here bringing our A game. Why ain't he bringing his A game? Girl, Lexi, is this your A game? Lexi, is this really your A game? I'm not saying that her game is weak, but I wouldn't call it an A plus game, Lexi. I really wouldn't call it that. Auntie Oma decides right away that she likes Shambrielle because she likes Shambrielle's outspokenness, because Auntie Oma, I think, sees in Shambrielle a little bit of herself, and maybe Auntie Oma is a little bit outspoken. Maybe she feels she's liking the authenticity of Shambrielle because Shambrielle speaks her mind. And then she likes Tamaris because Tamaris is letting them know a little bit about her in bits and pieces, not giving too much up front. And then she says she likes Lexi because Lexi is beautiful. Like I said, every time Auntie Oma says something about Lexi, it's always about her looks, nothing more. But she said she doesn't believe that a woman with children is the best fit for Joshua because you don't know about the father and if he's going to be bugging your family and causing chaos in your family, or can it be a peaceful home? And Martha, she says that she likes her strong personality and that she's a Nigerian woman, but we can see that she does not like parts of Martha. And then as they're sitting in the room waiting for Joshua and Auntie Oma to come back, it was Tamaris once again who read the room and says, I think we're about to go to elimination. And all the other girls look around and go, really? Tamaris got to tell them about, Tamaris had to tell them what was about to happen next. Like I said, Tamaris know how to read a room. And this is when we find out that Joshua doesn't even know who Auntie Oma is going to choose. So he too is sitting on pins and needles. And so right off the bat, the Auntie Oma chooses Shambrielle because she loved how she was a real person and she gave honest answers, even though all her answers didn't sit well with Joshua. She liked Tamaris' calmness, and she liked Tamaris' calmness. Tamaris expressed a little bit of disappointment. She didn't feel as if the Auntie Oma should have the first round pick. She said she likes a man who makes up his own mind. And she felt that by Auntie Oma having the first pick, maybe it signified a little bit of weakness in Joshua. Well, first of all, Tamaris, those are the rules of the game. And like I said, one part about Tamaris that I'm a little bit concerned about is that she's judging too soon. You see, once again, she was judging Joshua a little bit too soon. She's coming to conclusions too soon. See, when you can read a room really fast, that's a gift. But what you have to be sure you don't do when you can read a room fast is be too quick to judge. And I think Tamaris was coming up too soon with judgments about Joshua, because she just said that she wants a man to lead and not fall upon or follow the decisions of a mama. But Tamaris, that was the rules of the show. It wasn't even his rules. So once again, you were trying to take a point away from Joshua, not knowing that it was the rules of the show and not his rules. So you might need to slow down on that, baby girl. You might need to slow down on judging too soon, even though I think you can read a room. Lexi, once again, Auntie Oma said her smile was so beautiful. The only good thing Auntie Oma has to say about Lexi is her looks. And Martha, she said, I liked your cultural background. Like I said, what's the hierarchy? Looks, personality, right? Do you fit in with the family and all those other kind of things? And she gave Lexi a compliment on looks. And then what she gave Martha a compliment on was the third thing, which was the familiar background. And right then when she said that, I said, that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough, because that's a fourth place item, not a first place or second place item. So in the end, she kept Shambrielle, she kept Tamaris, and Shambrielle was shocked that she got to stay with the booty shorts. And even Lexi for a little bit was shocked that she got to stay with the two children. But of all the ladies, Lexi was more than happy to see Martha go home, because Martha was being a little bit too cocky. She was running around talking about it's a wrap. She already got him. Because what Martha's thinking, she checks all the boxes. That's what Martha's thinking. And when she found out she was getting eliminated, she said she's too gorgeous and too fabulous. And when he said, can I get one more hug before you get in the car and go? She said no. Martha was offended. And then it was that moment that Joshua said, yep, her energy was all wrong. And I agree. Martha, you could have been a person who could have lasted to the end. But in the end, like I said, it was your personality and your energy that got you kicked out. That's what got you kicked out. So I don't know what you're going around in the world doing, but you need to change it. You need to change it. I don't know where this quest for perfection comes from that you want in the man, and also the quest for perfection you believe in yourself and what you bring. But what makes a person human is you not only admitting your own flaws and knowing you have some, because if you can't admit your own and know you have some, then I'm going to think you're going to expect me to be perfect all the time as well. And like I said, Joshua is looking for a woman who's going to be affirming to him. And if you think you're perfect and you want Prince Charming, that's going to run him away, because then you're going to be critical of him. That's what he's going to think. So in the end, did the three ladies stay who I think probably would have stayed? I do. I think the three ladies stayed. In the long term, though, do I think that Lexi is a fit for Joshua? No, I don't. No, I don't think she's a fit. But I think between the criteria that I mentioned, she was going to get to stay over Martha. So there it is. I ain't shocked. I'm not shocked. But that's it. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. And don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And hopefully y'all will come back next week for episode 2. I'll be here for sure. Alrighty. Bye.